Newsfirst Newsline.
Good evening to you. You're watching Newsline. I'm Chaturanga Piyarathana. Faraz could not join us today, so I'm going to keep you company for the next half an hour. We are going to speak to a very important personality, a respected personality, Venerable Kalupahana Piyarathana Thero, who has been appointed to the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka. Now, we have a wide area to discuss today, but at the outset, let me take permission from the Venerable Thero and ask the Venerable Thero, you have now been appointed to the Human Rights Commission. Two key appointments were done by the President recently. A retired Supreme Court judge was appointed and the Venerable Thero was appointed. Let's take a look at your background and go from there, go forward from there. Why have you been appointed to the Human Rights Commission?
Yes, actually, it might be a question for the citizens of this country, because recently there are many appointments about monks in several areas in Sri Lanka. So according to that, people may think I was appointed because of a monk. I think it is not that point. So I was appointed because of my works. I have been working more than 30 years in this country for the human right, peace, reconciliation and such field. So that is why I think President has appointed me as a commissioner of the Human Rights Commission. If I say something about my background on human rights field, it was started at my student time at university. I was a student in California University. So you know, I was in that university in the era of the most tragical era, 87, 88 and 89. You know what happened in this country. And at that time, we were act as the student leaders of the university, inter-university student federation, inter-university Bhikkhu federation and such kind of federations. So when we saw that time, there was a huge conflict in this country between the two parties, then the government and that JVP insurrection, that kind of things happening, and they are killing each other, and there was a huge human right violation went on this country. The same time we saw that something happening in the north and east, but it is not much attention at that time. So our attention goes to the southern area about this human right violation. So as a university student, I saw several of my colleagues were disappeared, and we couldn't find where they are or what happened to them. So in that case, when something happening, I immediately go to the Rosemead place. Then the Madam Srimao Bandaranaike was there, and she is not the opposition leader, she was just a party leader. So they are working for that kind of things. So I went to meet her several times and gave the name list and other things to this Madam Bandaranaike. And one day when I went to meet her, she said, Hamdurane, we have formed a unit for this exact purpose, for the human right or disappearance and other things. So it is functioning in our party office in the Dali Road, and Mahinda Rajapaksa is leading that unit
At that time.
So he was not a MP, it's a LFP organizer. So I went to the Dali Road and I met the Mahinda Rajapaksa, and just we started the connection on human right field. So then we met the Honorable Mangala Samaravira. He was also a party organizer, and Vasudeva Nanayakara, one of the leftist leader. So we heard something from these leaders. Actually, we didn't know anything about the human rights at that time. We have only some feelings about the justice, and we want to fight against the injustice and that things. That things came to me from my parents. They are ardent leftist, actually Sama Samajist. My grandparents also Sama Samajist. So we saw and we heard Kollingarda Silva, Anil Munising and others who came to our home and have some rallies. So we heard some kind of justice, human rights, these keywords were in our mind. So for that sense, we enter to the field to work, and then we worked together in universities actually against the violence from both parties. So at that time there are no any kind of space to do democratic works in the universities. Both sides are inspecting and both sides are threatening us. So that kind of things was happening. So so this is the background.
Venerable Thero, now let's connect it to the present day. Now you said there was no democracy back then in the universities. The question is there democracy now? You spoke about wanting peace and reconciliation. Is there peace and reconciliation truly happening in our society now? Then you spoke about monks being appointed to various positions. Back in the day the same, present times also the same. So the problem seemed to be remaining much later, about 30-40 years later, from the 70s to the 80s to the 2000s, we are still seeing the same problem, Venerable Thero. So let me go to the point there. Now political appointments are heard of. We've seen political appointments being made. Now there are religious appointments also. Venerable Thero is being appointed to lead the One Country, One Law Commission perhaps. Venerable Thero is being appointed into various positions in universities. Public discontent, public unhappiness shown very publicly to the people by students. When you see these things, now you are in the human rights angle. Yes, Buddhism and human rights, there is a famous saying, there cannot be peace without human rights. Almost a Buddhist saying. When things like this is understood, but politics and Buddhism, what is your view? Should monks enter politics?
They can do some kind of politics. We are human beings and we are political beings. Every human beings are political beings. So in that sense, we have to do something for this country. If we are talking about the living prices in these days, it is also a politics. So without politics, we can't live in this world. But I think the political works doing by monks, it should some kind of a limit. There should be some kind of limit. So we should know what is our limit and what is our capacity. So giving advices to the leaders and criticizing their wrong things and letting the people to do good things in the political field. I think the monks can do this kind of thing. In the history, though, 2,500 years back, when we go back to the Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa, the monks did something. They advised to the king. They made king and they removed king. Actually, it is in a they have good intention to that. Because of the country, they did that things. Because of the people. So if we are doing something because of the country and the people, sake of the country, sake of the goodness of the country, sake of the goodness of the people, we can accept it. But if we are doing something for our own sake, for our advantage, for our benefits, so then we use these things for the politics. I think it should not be accepted.
The people, do we really, Venerable Thero, have a choice? Now the people respect the clergy, whatever religion they may be, for the attire that you are donned in, for the robes that you wear. And if monks are using the robe that you wear, symbolizing Buddhism, for political gains, as you very correctly said, we can see that happening. We don't want to mention names. We can see certain people using their power as clergy, using the respect that the people have for their own political gains. So when this happens, we see monks fighting for parliamentary seats in our country. So when we see these things, the respect levels of maybe the youth who come into the system will reduce. As I said earlier, when the people don't want to accept the certificate of their graduation from a Venerable Thero, that is, I think, the utmost bottom level that respect levels can fall to. This has been created by monks themselves, not the people. Yes. What do you think?
Yes, that is why I said we should know our limits and our things. So sometime someone will give us something, then we should think about it is suitable for us or not. Are we having that kind of capacity to do this work or that things? When you are talking about the politics, I think the monks' politics should not go past to the parliament seat or something. It is not the target of the monks' politics. Making a good leaders, guiding to the leaders and letting the peoples do good things. It is the monks target of the monks' political. But it is unfortunately our monks are now fighting for the parliament seats, and they are. But I think they don't want to go to the parliament. Without going to parliament, they can do many things outside the parliament, among the people, and with discussing and the interaction with the leaders. So they can do many things. Yes, we should not go to the parliament.
Venerable Thero, let's connect the situation in the country at the present times as well. You spoke about you as a university student. As you said, yes, attention may have not been drawn to the issue in the north and the east, but in 2021 we cannot go forward without talking what we as a country have done to our own people. 30 years of war, the destruction that has been done, the financial, human lives, all that has been lost. Brains were lost to this country. Now when you take a look at this situation, we cannot say that is a problem of the past or anything like that. There is no excuse for us. You have been appointed as a Buddhist monk, a Buddhism that follows Vinaya, discipline, Maitri, all these core values are there. Now what do we do about this issue?
Yes, earlier I said we never thought about the north and east at that time, but later our work field was the north and east area. Actually, we went to meet the LTT leaders in late 90s, 95, 97, 99 this time. We went to meet the LTT leaders and we met them and we discussed with them how to stop this war without fighting, how to come to the peace talk and anything. So continuously we did these things. So at that time people highly blamed me, the Kotiya Hamduru or something, that kind of label, that kind of. So, but we never stopped that things and we did it, and still we are doing these things. We know there are some mothers, they still don't know what happened to their children. So they are asking what happened. They even haven't death certificate. So they are waiting for that. And there are some people, they lost everything, their house, land, properties and everything. Now they are waiting for their properties. So this kind of grievances are there.
Yes.
So we have to address, we should address, we must address. Without addressing and without giving some solution to north and east area, we can't go forward. As a country. So that is why, as a human rights commissioner, this burden in my mind, how we are giving some kind of justice to this kind of people. Not only that people, very latest thing was the yesterday attack. So after that there are some victims and there are some problems. So how we are addressing these kind of things? These are the problem in front of us today.
Venerable Thero, when you talk about the human rights issues in our country, we can maybe talk for days. But as you mentioned, very key specific incidents have happened in our country where attention should be drawn. Now, for a Sinhalese person or a Tamil person or a Christian person, these things can be personal. They can be issues that are religiously motivated. But if you take a look at these issues as a country, you are a Venerable Thero representing Buddhism. As I said, a lot of respect is given to the fact that you are a monk. Now you are in this system. What is your objective? Yes, we can understand that you have a history, you have a background, you've done a lot. But now what are you going to do for the country?
Yes. As a Buddhist monk, I think first I want to say something. When I take in this robe to my body, I rejected all the deviations. The nation, caste and ethnicity, even the religion. Buddhist monks, they have no religion. There are no any kind of restrictions or any kind of deviations among us. So we are human beings. So in that position I can see all the other problems of all other ethnicities and other religious communities. So giving some answer to your question, yes, we know that many things happening in Sri Lanka. So we are facing many problems with our Human Rights Commission. Now we are degrading from A grade to the B grade. It's still not happened. But I think after 5 months they will
do that.
But the question in front of us, problem in front of us, how to increase this grade again. So there are some things beyond our capacity. We have to work under our constitution and under the government's guidelines.
Definitely.
Yeah. So in that sense, we have some kind of limits. But there are some rules and regulations given us by our constitution and the International Declaration of Human Rights. According to that, we are trying our best to do and solve these problems. And so now you know there are some problem in front of the Geneva. We have to face it.
Venerable Thero, let me interrupt you for a second there. We have to cross in for a quick commercial break to check the headlines of the primetime news. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Newsfirst, Newsline.
Welcome back. We are in discussion with Venerable Kalupahana Piyarathana Thero, a member of the Human Rights Commission of our country. Before we went into the break, Venerable Thero, we spoke about certain challenges that the country is facing. Especially you were about to talk about the UNHRC matter as well. We have to go there as well. But Venerable Thero, we have to sort of a detour from where we were. Is that we as a country, the current political faction, the ruling party, was appointed based on the backs of Venerable Theros. The Venerable Theros openly supported this government to come into power. And we also know that the Venerable Theros also fought for nationalism, to protect our resources, to protect everything that we have as a country. But now that is not what is happening in the country. Various things are being sold out. As you started off, even the cost of living has become a big problem. As a monk and as a person who is now trying to fight for human rights for a long period of time, and now as a person with power, what is your view on where our country is and where as monks you all want it to be?
Yes, it is a complicated situation. When we are thinking about the situation of this country, actually we are going very bad into this country. About the democracy, about the human rights. There are so many criticism. The government should hear to the people and the other political leaders what they are criticism and what they are talking about these things. And government should take relevant things to the increase the democratic and other things in this country. It's the government responsibility. In the monks part, I think there are, yes, some monks who were appointed to that key positions. They were supporters of this government. So it is, we can understand. Even though they are supporting this government, if they are doing their job well, it is okay to this country. But if they are not doing this job well for the benefit of this country or benefit of these people in this country, so it is useless.
In your opinion, Venerable Thero, are they doing a good job to this country?
I can't see now. I'm hoping.
When we won't have a country to live in if we go on the future.
Yes. The harmony between the religious communities and the harmony between the ethnic society communities, it should be here. If someone is doing harming or someone is dividing the people and the religious communities, they are not doing good things for this country.
Venerable Thero, we have Venerable Theros coming on TV and claiming when a certain faction, the Catholic priests, are asking for the Easter attack to be taken seriously and justice be given to the people who lost lives. Another faction of monks are coming and saying, look, this is a Catholic problem. They are going to the international community and bringing disrepute to the country. In a situation like that, where is the understanding? Where is the discipline that Buddhism teaches? Where is the respect? As you said, there is no religion, there is no discrimination. Where is all of that? Why is one Thero saying this and another group saying something else? Where is the unity?
Yes, there are extremism in everywhere. among the ethnic groups and among the religious groups, there are extremism. So they think they are the right and sole representative of the communities and other things. So they are saying many things, but they are not saying that things according to the Buddhism or their own religion. There are extreme people in the Catholic society, in Buddhist society, in Muslim society. So the moderate persons who are living in these communities should come up and raise their voice. I see something. All these extremist groups have huge space in the media. Their voice came very highly. But who are working for the peace, reconciliation, human rights and the harmony in this country, they have no voice. Why that? Why the media doesn't give some kind of chance to them? All the medias and all other people going behind these extremist groups because they want news. That's a problem. So according to the Buddhism, we can't reject anyone or anything. So in what I am doing in this country, according to the two principles, accept and respect. We have to accept there are diversities in this country, ethnic diversities, religious diversities, cultural diversities, this kind of diversity. So diversity is a good thing. So we have to accept it. After the accept of this diversity, we have to respect. They have right to keep their diversity. We can't mix and make acharu. Yes. We can unite them, protecting their identities. You have your own identities, I have my own identity. So we can't remove all these things and make a one thing. But keeping their identity, we have to, we should respect them and we should make a united country.
Venerable Thero, final few minutes that we have. With all that you have said so far, it's enlightening to hear someone in a position like the Human Rights Commission coming and saying all of this. That's why you have half an hour to talk about these issues on our media network. But that being said, the notion that Sri Lanka is a Sinhala Buddhist country, now you're a part of the Human Rights Commission. What do you think? Is it really a Sinhala Buddhist country? Where are we?
Yes. When I talk about that things, when we see the country, we can see there are majority people, they are Sinhalese Buddhists. According to that, they can say it is a Sinhala Buddhist country. But it is not saying this country only belongs to the Sinhalese and Buddhists. I like to say this is the country who live of people who living in this country, not Sinhalese Buddhists. We don't take that Sinhala country or Buddhist country or there are no. This is our country. This is the country of every people who are living in this country. So we have to think about these are the country of Sri Lankan people's country. I can say this is Sinhala Buddhist country, but at the same time I can't say this is not your country. You are not belongs to this country. We can't say this is country of all the people living in this country.
Venerable Thero, one quick last question. Now, in the Buddhist structure, when it comes to Venerable Theros, there is a hierarchy. There is a system that is in place. Now, if you take a look at, for example, the military or something like that, the order that comes from top has to fall down to the lastmost soldier, bottom level. In Buddhism, is that also like that? You all are being appointed to all of these key places, and maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know if it happens, but maybe if a decision is passed from your venerable sector, then does that also fall down to the least level, and how does that work out? Do you all have the freedom to operate in the capacity? Is my
yes, I think in the Buddhist Sangha society, in our Nikaya, so we have our own freedom. When Buddha was near to the death, Parinibbana, someone asked from Buddha, who will lead the Sangha society after you? Buddha said, there are no leaders. The Dhamma Vinaya is leading you. So Dhamma Vinaya is our guideline. So when something happens, we immediately see what Buddha said about these things according to Dhamma Vinaya, so we can follow. Our actually Buddhist hierarchy system is very liberal system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Venerable Kalupahana Piyarathana Thero. We wish you all the best, and let's at least now hope the country will have the real guidance with Buddhist teachings to solve our human rights issues, at least stop our country from being degraded in about 5-6 months. We have to face the UNHRC sessions next year as well. Cost of living is a problem, politics is a problem, everything in this country at the moment seems to be a problem. But we can only hope, as you said, and see whether we have a better outcome as we reach the new year as well. Once again, we very respectfully thank you, Venerable Thero, for taking time to be a part of our show. We thank our viewers as well for being part of Newsline this evening. You can catch this show on YouTube as well. Please search for #NewslineSL. You'll be able to see the latest episodes there. Faraz Shaukat Ali will join you tomorrow with an interesting guest as well. Thank you very much. I've been Chaturanga Pawarachi.